This is how you know. This is how you know that you're a narcissist, man. Because you guys probably noticed that when I'm doing my Bible trips, and I'm working on this, man. I'm really working on this about myself. I'm working on this about my self-absorbed narcissistic self. You notice when I'm looking at it, I'm not even like looking at the eye line of the camera. I'm looking at that because I'll be looking at myself. Hey, oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm on TV. I'm on TV, Mom. Look at me. I'm on TV. Look at me. You know, so I'll be doing that. And I need to be looking into the camera. But, you know, the camera, looking at the lens, man, it's just not as fun as like looking at me. You know, so I'm always like looking down at the camera. It's like, that doesn't look very personal. And I don't mean to, because, you know, I also like, I'm trying to like look at the comments as we go too and see like who's joining and stuff like that. So I can holler at y'all and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm not a very good multitasker. The only time I can multitask like really good is when I'm on the drums. You know, so I got that independence working and stuff like that. But anything else, man, I be trying to multitask, like, you know, look at the camera and look at my book and look at, you know, looking at the live feed and stuff like that as you guys come in. I'm like, oh, what do we got? Johnny David, what's up, dude? I see my boy Johnny up in here, and I see Rory. We got Yo comes in with Yo, Zo. I see him doing it again. I'm looking at me. I'm looking at me. And you look at the camera. Like this, maybe okay. This is what I think I should do. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a screenshot and print it of myself like this.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like put it like over the lens. And like have it like where like have the eye like cut out, so where the eye is just like that. That way I'm like looking at me, right? And because you know it's obviously I'm just like really fascinated. Not like I'm like an Adonis or anything like that. I'm just like, you know, it's like one of those things like, dude, I don't know what it is, man, but I just can't stop looking at it. It's one of those things. You ever do that? Like you see something like, I don't know what it is about that, man, but I just can't stop looking at it. So this is that kind of that. I need to work that out, man. If y'all pray for me. I need to pray about that. I need to pray that. That's what I need to do. Okay, so where we at?
John 3.
What's up, sinners? I'm coming to get y'all. I'm coming to get y'all today, right? You bunch of heathens. Where my Bible at? You wait. You just hold on to it. You better run. You better run, because I'm going to get my Bible. When I come to get my Bible, man, it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong and strong, right? You wait. Where is that? Bam, right here. Word of God gonna be coming to get you like this. Doom, 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 The sinner shark coming to get you. Dun, 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 dun. Just like swallow y'all up, right? That's the way it's gonna go down. You don't want none today, but you should. You should want some, and come back for seconds. All right? How y'all been? Y'all good? Where are we at? What's today? Today is Sunday, right? Okay, Sunday. See, I need to, before I even ask that, man, I should look. Bam, like right there. It says it on like my little calendar thing. Sunday. You know, these are, I told you, man, I'm not a good multitasker. No, I'm just not. The only time I can do that is when I'm playing drums. What's up, y'all? Yes, God bless you for joining me. Let's get this fellowship going, man. Let's get this study rocking, man. Let's get the Holy Spirit on up in here. Let us humble ourselves, right? Let us be straight up humble. Let us be them soldiers that are ready to receive our orders. I hear people keep saying, God is on the throne. Yeah, he is. And he gives instructions. Dang it. And we got stuff to do. We got work to do. We got fruit to get out there and bear for our Most High God. That's what we got to do, and rejoice in it, right? Thank you, God, that we live in a country where we're free to do that. Other places, man, ain't, you know, we can end up like that, y'all. We can end up like that. Remember, paradise started overseas, and look what happened. People took the word of God for granted. Do not take your Lord thy God for granted. Let's get our learn on. Let us learn from the Most High King. Right? Let's get him up in here. Let's get the Holy Spirit up in here, and let's see what he reveals to us today, so we can get out there and be that salt and light. Be those who go out there and who have what it takes that's in us to help heal this land that he's given us, and endure the circumstances that come on to us, so we can just keep on trucking. As the saying goes, I'm not looking for, I don't expect the world to be easy, but what I would like is the strength of God to be able to endure. May that shalom of the Lord come on to us. And, may nothing get in the way of what it is that the Lord wants us to read. No other influence, y'all. Let us only get that straight up truth. Humble before the Most High God, so he can come in here and correct what needs to be corrected, and get us out there handling that kingdom business. Be representatives and inspire people. Just inspire people. Make them hungry. Make them hungry for the kingdom. Right? Can you dig it? Can I get amen?
Amen.
Can I get a witness? Can I get some more coffee? Probably don't need any more.
No. Not after 8 o'clock.
That's what is that like a coffee junkie or something like that? It's just like you're a coffeeaholic if you drink coffee after 8 o'clock, and you're an alcoholic if you drink like wine like before 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. So it's like, well, sorry, does that mean that you're drinking wine before noon? Like, no, God, no.
Drinking the coffee though.
Right, drinking yeah, right. Before I put on my slippers, coffee. All right, so where we at, y'all? We at John chapter 3. John, this is John the Revelator, right?
Yes.
This is what we talk about. John the Revelator. And this is important, y'all, because and I want to reiterate this. When you're looking at the Revelation, don't think that the Revelation is all speaking about what's going to happen in the future. The Revelation reveals the Bible to you. You got to read the whole thing. And they will make sense of each other. By the time you get to Revelation, you're going to read Revelation, and you'll be, because like some people, a lot of times the Revelation has been such a mystery to people because they've only been reading the New Testament. They just think that, the Old Testament is irrelevant, and the only thing they need to read is the New Testament because, they're going to learn about that nice, hippie guy Jesus. Like, look, no, you got to read the whole New Testament. You find out that you read about the New Testament, you find out that Jesus makes God look like he was in a really good mood in the Old Testament. I mean, because when this stuff comes down, when Jesus comes back, he comes back seeing the big payback, right? Jesus going to have James Brown bumping in the background. I don't know karate, but I know Kareza. It's like, it's there will be blood, all right? It's going to get ugly. And you do not want to be on the business end of that. And but the thing is if you read the whole Bible, the whole thing, by the time you get to Revelation, you will find that Revelation is not just telling you what's gonna come. It opens up what has happened. It helps to make sense of it to you. So when you're like people, they think that the Old Testament is this big mystery. And I'm not telling you that I know the whole thing. I'm just saying that it makes a lot more sense than what I used to assume. I used to, before I was saved, man, it was like man, the Old Testament, that stuff is outdated and we don't need it and stuff like that. It's like, no, the Old Testament, first and foremost, paints the picture of Christ to you so you know who he is. All right. So you can't mistake him. And so you're gonna need that book. And it helps also, not only does it prophesy of Christ, it's gonna prophesy of his, his fulfilling work, the totality of his work that he's gonna be doing with us. So it's like the Old Testament is something that you definitely want to dig into, and John the Revelator, is going to help us out with that. All right, so what do we got? 3. You ready? Let's boogie. Yeah. All right. Now there was a man, a Pharisee named Nicodemus or Nicodemus, however you want to, if you want to accent it, want to have fun with the accent on that. A ruler of the Jewish people. He came to Yeshua at night and said, "Hey, what's up, Rabbi?" Now, I know that you, a teacher, have come from God, for no one can perform these signs which you do unless God is with them. It's like, Jesus, yeah, man, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you've at least gone that far. The next step is for you to realize that I am God, but, we're making progress here. At least you don't think that I'm doing this work by demons and stuff and by Beelzebub. But I'm glad I appreciate that, man, that you know that my works are of God, So that's a good place to start, man. I'm proud of you. Yeshua answered him, "Amen, amen. I tell you, unless one is born from above," it's like, born from above, he cannot see the kingdom of God. So Jesus is like, "Oh, all right. I see that you're coming to me with you realize that the works that I'm doing are from God. You don't quite understand that I am God, but I think, but since you're there, I'm going to throw another one at you. I'm going to throw another curve at you. See if you can wrap your mind around this one. Okay? Amen. Unless you are born from above, he cannot see the kingdom of God." Nicodemus was like, He kind of gets that kind of like short circuit there for a second. Like, when you go to McDonald's or something like that and you order something custom that's not on the menu, you'd be like, yeah, can I get me like a quarter pounder with cheese? But I want you to like, can I get like the sliced pickles instead of the diced pickles, or the sliced onions instead of the diced onions? And can I get that on like, can can I get like, 3 pickles instead of like, 2 or whichever? And they're not used to like, you come throwing a custom order like that, even though they'd be like, okay. They kind of get that kind of, can I call in a manager? They want to call in a manager or something like that. I don't know where that is on the keyboard pad and stuff like that. I ain't trying to hit. I'd probably mess up like that too if I was back there. I hope to God I never have to find out. But it's right now it is nowadays, we can order our own burger, stuff like that. I told you, you greedy $15 an hour people who told you to go replace with robots, right? You're hating it. Okay. Let's see. Now, how can a man, so Nicodemus, when he hears this, he's like, how can a man be born when he is old? Nicodemus said to him, he cannot enter his mother's womb a second time and be born, can he? I hope not. Yeshua answered, amen, amen. I tell you, unless one is born of water and spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. What is born of the flesh is flesh. What is born of the spirit is spirit. Do not be surprised that I said this to you. You all must be born from above. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone born of the spirit. All right, you done heard the word of God. All right, that's what we do here. You're going to hear the word of God first. Even if I screw this up, you didn't heard the word of God first, which doesn't screw up. All right. So let's see what we can get out of this. All right. When he's talking about born of water, all right. So he's talking about the baptism, and the baptism. Okay, I held off on being baptized for a while, and because I didn't see the significance of it, and I'd make excuses about it and stuff like that. But like I said, one day I was like studying. Me and my bass player was studying, and he let me know. He says, "Yeah, the Jordan, means judgment." I said, "Oh, is that right?" And when he told me that, I was like, "Bam!" It clicked, right? It clicked for me. So, when the Bible opens up, how it says that the Spirit, was hovering over the water, and when you break down what water is. In this 6-day account in Genesis, when you break down what water is, it breaks down as like waste. It was like a sludge, right? It was. You ready for this, guys? You ready for this? It was death in the water, right? The water was a wasteland. It was sludge. It was decomposing, rotting things in it. That's what was covering the earth. This is what the Spirit of God was moving over. Okay, why was it like that? Why? Because God had judged the earth. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There was an earth here before the 6-day account. And Ezekiel and Isaiah is going to tell you that. You read it. There was an earth already here. There were already kingdoms here. Right? Angels occupied the earth. And they, and they had kingdoms. They had trade. The Bible tells you this. Okay? So, but these angels, of course, decided that they wanted to do things their own way. And they started corrupting things. They're working with organic material and stuff like that. God judged the world. He judged it, wiped out everything. And that's when you open up and it says, now the earth was formless and void. All right. Why? That was the state of that it was in now. But there was a then state that preceded the now. Okay. That was the earth that was judged. So when God is moving over it, and he says, let there be light. One of the reasons is because if God is moving over the face of the water, that means he can see his reflection. Okay. And if God can see his reflection, even in the murk, that means that there's life in there. Okay. The earth is about to be reborn, not created, but recreated or restored. He's about to restore the earth. Right. So in this, he's looking at an earth that was judged. So what Jesus is saying right here, unless a person can be born again, he's got to be born again of water. So when a person is baptized, this is what's happening, y'all. This is what happened. And for those who try to make the excuse that they don't need to be baptized, what about the guy on the cross? He didn't need to be baptized and stuff like that. When he couldn't be baptized, his hands were kind of nailed back. All right, we'll get to that in a second. All right. I used to try to make the same justification too, but when Jesus shows up, he's like, yeah, man, even I need to be baptized to fulfill righteousness. It's like, dude, well, if Jesus needs to do it, I probably need to do it too, and I probably shouldn't be making any excuses. There's really only one thing that will keep you from being baptized. One thing. Pride. That's the only thing that will keep you from being baptized. When you start making excuses for it, because you don't want to humble yourself. You don't want to go through this thing that, it's like, oh, come on, man, I feel silly and stuff like that, and I don't really see why I need to do it. Even though Jesus did it. But you'll make all the excuses. The only reason why you make that excuse is because of pride. All right? The first iniquity. The first sin that started all this crap. When Lucifer decided that he had some, that he could do a better job than God could. Pride. All right? So if you haven't been baptized, I just suggest to you, get over yourself, handle that business. All right? Because Jesus is telling you right here. And this is why this is important, y'all. This is why this is important. As we see, when Jesus was baptized, here comes God and here comes the Holy Spirit. Right, here they are. When you go into your baptized, they show up. And what's happening is when you go under that water, when you go under the water of judgment, because that's what's happening. That's the basis of this. You are going under the water of judgment. You're going under the water of the Jordan. You go under. The Holy Spirit shows up just like he did in the first pages. He shows up. He's hovering over the face of the waters that has been judged. And when he sees that water, what do you see in your reflection? You see yourself. That's what God sees. I see me. And when I see me, that's what I need to see you through. And that's when God is like, okay, you're cool now. Now I see you through my Son. I see you through the Holy Spirit. I see that now. When you emerge, you are a new creature. All right? That's what the baptism is about. You're born again. All right? So that's what he's talking about right there. He's like, yeah, you need to be born of the water and the Spirit. So you go under that water of judgment, the Spirit, you are reborn now because the Spirit is looking at his reflection in you. All right? So this is what Jesus is getting down to. I would speculate, if I may. All right? Let's see. What is okay, now when he says now when he's talking about the wind here, do not be surprised that I told you must be born from above. The wind blows where it wishes and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from and where it goes. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. And that's the truth. All right? Because when we're talking about comparing the wind to where the Spirit comes from and where it goes. Y'all, we know that the Spirit comes to us from God. We know that. But the thing is, if you really want to go deep into it, the Spirit of God himself, you don't know where he comes from. And you don't know where he goes. Right? Even it's like we're talking about the uncreated. He doesn't have a beginning, but he is the beginning. And he doesn't have an end, but he is the end. All right? And you can't even process. You can't even begin to touch his beginning. Not even. It's like even if you try to go back a billion exponentially, a trillion times a trillion to the power of a billion million, you haven't even made one step closer to his beginning. You haven't even started. You might as well not even take a step. You haven't even started. Even and on the other side of that, if you can like forecast billions and billions and trillions of eons into the future, you haven't even come close to the potential of his age coming into then. He's eternal, right? No beginning, no end. You haven't even come close. So, and that is where our spirit comes from. Our spirit comes from something that's eternal, right? And you can't put your mind around that. So let me see. 9. How can these things happen? Nicodemus said. Yeshua answered him, you're a teacher of Israel, man. What's wrong with you? You do not understand these things? Amen, amen, I tell you. We speak about what we know and testify. Testify, remember that word right there. Okay, and testify about what we have seen. What we have seen. Yet you all do not receive our testimony. The testimony of the Trinity, right? Let's see. The Trinity is testifying to you right now. If you do not testify, if you do not believe the earthly things I told you, how will you believe when I tell you about heavenly things, no one has gone up into heaven except the one who came down from heaven, the Son of Man. Just as Moses, okay, now before we go into the next part, it's like, wait a minute, so there seems to be a contradiction here. Jesus is saying that nobody's gone up into heaven. Well, what about Enoch? Didn't God take him? Now, some would posit, well, God took him, but he didn't go up into heaven. Wait a minute. If God took him personally, where higher places there to go? You know, it's like God like comes in and remember, y'all, when God pulled Enoch away from the earth, it was abruptly snatched him, right? It was the first rapture. They snatched him up quick. God did personally. So I don't think it's a far-fetched to say that Enoch went to heaven. And then you got Elijah carried up to heaven in a chariot. Okay. So what could Jesus be talking about here? Does Jesus not contradict himself? Let's see. No one has gone up into heaven except the one who has come down from heaven, the Son of Man. So now how does this work? Well, remember what I said, hold on to that word testify. Okay, and testify to the things he's seen. You got to put that whole thing into context. You can't just take it by verse. If you just take it by the verse, then you'll open yourself to assuming there's a contradiction. You got to take the whole thing. Okay, and Jesus says testify. See, there's nobody else on earth. Nobody can testify about heaven. Nobody can. All right, Jesus is letting you know that. I know that opens up the can of worms for like near-death experiences and stuff like that, and that people see the other side and whatnot. We'll probably touch on that in just a second. All right, this is probably gonna open up a big old can of worms. Okay, hey, Gail, I see you in there, buddy. Right on. Merry Christmas. Let me back. Thank you for showing up. Partying with us. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Here's the thing. Enoch went into heaven, but Enoch can't testify about heaven. All right. Enoch, it says that Enoch was taken and Enoch was no more. Nobody has been to heaven and can testify about heaven. Only Jesus can. Only Jesus can witness to somebody about both heaven and earth. He's the only one. He's been there and back. Okay? So he came out from heaven and was born on earth. And he's the only one qualified to tell us about heaven. Don't y'all think it's a little interesting that in the Old Testament, people who were brought back from the dead, they don't talk about heaven? Nobody even asked them. Not that I know of. What about Lazarus? Lazarus was brought by that. He was what, 4 or 5 days dead? And nobody asked him. Hey, Lazarus, what was it like on the other side, man? And Lazarus didn't give a testimony about it. The little girl, all those people crowded around and they thought it's like she's dead, man. Jesus brings her back, right? And instead of them getting into a conversation about what she saw, he says, give her something to eat. Nobody asked. Don't you think that's kind of curious? The Bible doesn't speak of it. Not that I know of. I know there's people out there, who's more read about in this book than I am. I'm still babying it. I'll be a baby in it for the rest of my life. But I haven't read that where anybody talks about what they saw in heaven. Jesus is the only one who could testify about it. So let's see. But that's what he's trying to tell them. It's like, yeah, man, I'm both heaven and earth, man. I've been both places. I'm the only one who can testify to it. So that's what that means. So don't, assume that there's a contradiction there.
That's awesome.
Let's see. If you don't believe the earthly things I told you, how would you believe when I tell you the heavenly things? All right. So Jesus is saying, look, man, I've given you relatable, physical things for you to understand, and you're still not getting it. There's no way, man. You're not going to understand when I tell you about the things of heaven. You're not going to get it. Let's see. So just as Moses, and now we're going to get into the part where you guys, if you haven't been to my website and you wondered, and you've probably heard me call my productions Bronze Serpent Media, man, I've actually had people tell me that they can't watch my videos anymore, because they're children of the light. They're Christians, and God bless them, man. It's like I appreciate them trying to do the right thing, stuff like that. But if you're gonna call yourself a Christian, you got to know this book, man. You got to know it a little better, And hey, admittedly, I was calling myself a Christian before I really, read the book myself. But the thing is like I came to it like a lot of people. It's like, look, Jesus, I'm ready to believe what you said. Because even when you crack open the Bible, there's this great supposition, huge supposition, and it tells you that God created the heaven and the earth. And it's like you got to be ready to believe that. Don't bother reading the Bible if you're not ready to believe it. Okay, that's where God wants you to come. It's like, look, man, because the thing is, if you go into it, and there's exceptions to a lot of these rules. Like say, for instance, you got Lee Strobel. Lee Strobel, like, crapped the Bible to disbelieve it. Ended up believing it. Okay? But he must have had, he must have had a genuine desire to find the truth. But if you're not humble and you're not prepared to read it, the Bible is just going to be gibberish. You're going to be reading in tongues, so to speak. It's just going to be gibberish to you. It's just going to be a bunch of spiritual. You don't even consider it spiritual. You'll be offended by it because you won't understand it. Right? You got to humble yourself before the author and say, help me to understand this. And the Bible will open up to you. All right. I know it sounds supernatural, but that's the way it is. I used to read the Bible before. It didn't make any sense to me. Humble myself before God. Now it makes sense.
Yep.
All right.
It is supernatural.
Yeah. It's straight up. Okay. Let's see. So what was I getting ready to say? Speaking what was it? No one has gone up in heaven. Where was that point? Okay, yeah. Okay, so having people telling me that the serpent is satanic, and I don't think it's right that you call your production company Bronze Serpent Media because that's the devil and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you right here. Everybody doesn't everybody know that chapter and verse in John 3:16? It's like every Christian knows that, But if that's the case, 3:16, all you got to do is read 2 verses back. 2 verses. And that's where you understand where I picked the name for my production, or at least I didn't pick it. I think the Lord gave it to me. All right, to call my production company or my production moniker. So right here, John 3:14, just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, so that whoever believes in him may have eternal life. Now, so what's he talking about? He's talking about when Israelites were getting on God's nerves, man. They were getting on his nerves. So God sicked a bunch of venomous, fiery serpents on them. They was going around, they was biting Israel. Like, bam, 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 snapping on them, right? Were getting like deathly ill. So the Israelites cried out to God. It's like, look, we're dying here. We're dying. It's like, can you help me? And so God's like, all right. Moses, what I want you to do is I want you to fashion a bronze serpent, put it on a pole, and I want you to hold it up. The Israelites need to only look at it. If they look at it, they will be healed. All right? That's where the bronze serpent comes from. That's what the bronze serpent that they're talking about right here. The faith. Look upon it. As per God's instruction, look upon it. Don't worship it. All right. I don't want you to worship this thing. This ain't idolatry. This is like a salvational tool pro tem. It's meant to be destroyed after which. All right. So when I suggested bronze serpent media, I'm not suggesting any sort of idolatry or anything like that. That's not what it is. It is only a reference. It's a picture of Christ and the work that he's going to do. That's what Bronze Serpent Media represents. It's in case you might have wanted to know. All right. And then we get to John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That rocks. Jesus is a really nice dude. God did not send the Son of Man into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him. The one who believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe in him has been condemned already. He's as good as condemned because he has not put his trust in the name of the one and only Ben Elohim. All right. So y'all, let's not get it twisted. People, they kind of put Jesus in this box, according to this, that Jesus is just here to make a bunch of friends and all that sort of stuff. And hey, everybody, let's all get along and stuff like that. And we should. We are supposed to love each other. But Jesus is like, but look, man, if you reject, and this ain't Jesus being a spoiled brat, man. It ain't nothing like that, where Jesus says, I gave you my love and you didn't want it. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to be really angry. That's not what it is at all. Jesus came in the most humble. Just came over and just, hey, this is what it is. Came in total peace. He taught. He handed out some justice where it needed to be, where justice needed to be handed out. Sometimes he had to get a little heavy-handed. Sometimes he had to get a little bass in his voice when he's talking to people, right? So he did that too. But overall, he was like, look, man, I'm giving y'all a chance. I'm giving you the opportunity to repent. And I'm going to make everything. It's like, look, man, I'm going to wipe the slate clean for you. Everything is going to be all good. I'm here to let you know. I'm here to extend that invitation to you. You don't take it, we're going to box. And you're going to lose. All right? You're going to fall hard. If you don't take my grace. And this isn't, like I said, this isn't Jesus being a sourpuss because we didn't take his grace. Jesus is considering all of us. He's like, look, you're going to say no to me. Okay. But I'm looking at those people and this includes everyone. This includes Christians too. And Jesus be like, I don't know you. So you calling yourself a Christian and stuff like that, and you do other people dirty. Right. And if you reject the grace of Jesus and who he is, and you'll be doing other people dirty. And truth be told, these are the people who will do people the dirtiest. Jesus like, I ain't letting you up into my kingdom. Y'all ain't coming to my kingdom causing these problems. All right? You're messing things up for people. And I've got a real problem with that. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to settle the score. Hardcore. All right? Now, like I said, this ain't Jesus being, throwing a hissy fit or a tantrum or anything like that. He's coming back angry because of people messing with his children. All right. So, we be talking about Mama Grizzly and stuff like that. Okay. Well, the Papa Bear getting ready to step up in here like big time. All right. And he is going to regulate, and it's going to come down with extreme prejudice. It's not going to be pretty. You do not want to be on the business end of this. When people talk about you Christians, you just want to escape. It's like, dude, you need to consider who we're trying to escape from. We ain't trying to escape from you. Amen. All right. It's the wrath of God. We do not want to be on his foul side, man. You don't want to be on the business end of that. That's real. That's real. And how do we do that? Just take his commandments, live them out in love, say, hey, that's my high king and priest right there. Rock the gospel. And the ones who don't do that are the ones that are filled with pride and arrogance. It's the pride, arrogance, and the desire to fulfill your just the pursuit to fulfill your own desires. You don't want anything to consider what it is that you do that's immoral, right? It's not immoral to you. It's pleasurable to you. And you don't want to have to answer anybody for it. That's one of the reasons why people don't want to come to Christ, because they don't want to abide by this law. Yeah. All right. It means that you can't be selfish anymore. You can always assume that you're a good person, right? Oh, I'm so good. I'm this, I'm that. But, but at the same time, I'm good according to me, and I can do whatever I want, and I don't have to answer anybody, right? Especially some, fuddy-duddy God. But that's what it comes down to: selfishness and pride. It's like, man, you don't want to. I'm sure you don't want to have to live with your own selfishness and pride for eternity, man. It's a hot one. It's a hot one. Don't take that gamble, man. I'm telling you, don't take that gamble. All right. So let's see. Now, this is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and men loved the darkness instead of the light. This is substantiating what I was just saying. Because their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light, and does not come to the light, so that their deeds will not be exposed. But whoever practices the truth comes to the light, so that it may be made known that his deeds have been accomplished by God. Okay, so here's another. Now, when we take that, when we just kind of box that in right there, and we don't read this in full biblical context, this is when we come up with real self-righteous people, real self-righteous Christians. Okay, very pious Christians. Because we'll have those who assume that deeds, the operative words here, deeds and accomplishments. All right. Your deeds and your accomplishments. Remember how we was talking about you don't get one, you can go back billions and billions and billions and billions of years, right? And you won't get one step closer to the beginning of God. Well, you can do all the deeds and accomplishments that you want. It ain't going to get you one step closer to the kingdom. Jesus done it all. The deeds, because how do you define deeds? How do you define accomplishments? How do you put a number on it? How do you put a quote on it? You can't. What deeds, what are these deeds that you think that you can do that earns you a merit pass into heaven? What accomplishments do you think you can do? There ain't none. All right. Notice that the 10 Commandments don't tell you to do good deeds. The 10 Commandments don't tell you to be charitable. The 10 Commandments don't tell you to be polite. You know, the 10 Commandments don't tell you to do these things. What folks need to understand is that deeds and accomplishments, the 10 Commandments, if you're able to go through your life without violating any of those commandments, that would be quite an accomplishment in itself. These are your works. So it's like every one of us, you know, is prone day to day to violate a commandment. It's work. It's an accomplishment to get through the day without breaking a commandment. People get out there, start gossiping and stuff like that, backbiting and talking about people, slander. Doesn't the commandment say to not slander? The commandment isn't to not lie. The commandment is to not slander. All right? People out there coveting and stuff like that, eyeballing other people's stuff and stuff like that. Looking at other people's stuff. You're not supposed to do that. All right? People go through life and they be stealing. Sometimes the urge gets, and every one of us has these things in us that we could do. Any one of us. We're desperately wicked people, man. The Bible already tells us that. Any one of us could break any of these commandments at any time. Yeah, you could murder at any time. You don't know what button somebody will push at you. To some people, you know, some people have a higher propensity to possibly do that, and some less. But we all have the potential to do it. Anybody could murder. Anybody could commit adultery. Anybody could steal. Anybody could. It's all of us, right? And it's an accomplishment every day. You know, and if you can get through the day not committing any of those sins, fantastic. It's possible to do. Can you live your whole life doing it? No. It's an accomplishment to do it every day, every single day, day by day, not violating the commandments. That in itself is an accomplishment. And when you're able to do that, you've actually done somebody a very good deed, right? It's a good deed to not steal from people. It's a good deed to not slander people. It's a good thing to not murder people. It's a good deed to not commit adultery. It's a good deed, right? Trust me. That may be as good as it gets. See, when you think about deeds and accomplishments in your mind of what you think, you can't put a number on that. You can't number that. What do you think that you could possibly do? How much do you think you could do to earn the favor of God compared to what he's done? You can't. Your righteous deeds, filthy rags. All right? But, man, if you could go through life, you know, and just this basic thing, man, not slander people. Don't steal from folks. Do stuff that brings your folks honor, you know. Be the kind of person where it's like, you know, dang, man, your dad and mom, man, they must have raised you right. You know, your parents could have been the biggest knuckleheaded crack addicts ever. But what people should assume about them is that they were really good people because of you. You should just like honor your father and your mother. So when people look on you, they'd be like, dang, man, you must have had some awesome parents because you seem like your head is really screwed on straight. Somebody taught you, somebody raised you right. Right? People should think about your folks and be like, man, you must have some awesome parents. Honor your father and your mother. All right? People think that honor your father and mother means that, you know, you're supposed to like be like some sort of like, you know, subservient slave to them for the rest of life and never disagree with them or never any. No, I have to honor my father and mother because if I don't, I've committed a sin. It's like, look, you're going to disagree with your folks sometimes. All right. That's not dishonoring them. Honoring your father and mother means that you're a person that people look on and they're like, dude, you got it together, man. Your folks must have raised you right. Right? You're supposed to be that representative. You're the representative. Hey, you're the signet of your folks. And they should respect your folks because of you. That's what it is to bring honor to your father and your mother. Honor your father and your mother. All right?
That is deep, boo.
You know how we do it up here. Let's see. So anyway, you know, that's what I'm saying. These things are an accomplishment. You know, it's not about, you know, these deeds that you assume that you could do. Follow the commandments. Do it out of love, not out of legality. Don't be legalistic about following the commandments. Do it out of love. That's what Jesus is talking about. All right. Let's see. All right. Afterwards, we're at 23, y'all. Afterwards, Yeshua and his disciples came to the land of Judea, We're all to the land of Judea. We certainly do get around. Anybody ever see that movie, History of the World? Yeah. Yeah. Dating myself here a little bit. Hey, Mel Brooks has some funny stuff, man. Come on, man. All right. Let's see. Okay. There he was staying with them and immersing, right? Giving folks them dips. Now, John also was immersing at Aenon near Salim because much water was there and many were coming and being immersed. And John had not yet been thrown into prison. Okay, so here's another one. Remember, guys, it's the Bible is pointing out the individuality of these gospels and who wrote them and stuff like that. So don't think that there's this big contradiction. And because, you know, if you look at the dynamics of people's testimonies, you're going to have these variances. All right, some variances are going to be like it's like, wow, man, that's varying a lot. But you got to look at the commonalities of the things, the elements of things that did happen. They may not happen in a particular order. They may not happen from the same angle, may not have the same numbers and stuff like that, but they still conclude to the same thing. All right. And then you have to consider the style in which they're going to tell the story, how they're going to format it, what things that to keep the reader engaged. Yeah, I mean, obviously, y'all have read books and you've seen movies. Notice how people usually like the book better than they like the movie. They read the book first, and when they go to see the movie, they're expecting things to happen in a certain way, in a certain sequence. Certain things that they're going to expect to be there, and they're looking for certain things, and they're not there. Or things that they didn't read in the book are in the movie. Some things but this is how things have to be written. The book is going to be written to you a certain way. Even if it's a historical book, it's going to be written to you a certain way to keep you engaged. Okay? That's the style of the writer. Now, a person may read that same book and may want to make a screen adaptation out of it. And when he takes it to the screen, they're going to jumble all those accounts around to make the movie flow. Things are going to happen first that didn't happen first in the book. And things here in the book are going to happen that didn't actually happen historically. But it's about keeping the reader engaged. Get them all the information. Maybe all the information doesn't stack up a certain way, but the information's there so you can process it. It's the writer's trying to put himself in your shoes. He's thinking, how can I make this stick with the person who's reading it? The movie maker is like, how can I make this stick? How can I convey this information to the audience to where they're emotionally attached? All right? When these guys wrote the gospel, they're doing the same thing. They're trying to consider, how can I keep the reader with me? All right? And each one of them is going to have their own style of doing that. But they're still going to convey these elements of information to you that are still consistent. You know, historical milestones that happen. All right. So don't let anybody try, they're telling you that the Bible's contradicting itself. We can see that in human behavior about how we relay information to people. All right. So the Bible's trying to let you know, it's genuine, man. It's so flipping genuine. And it's like people out there be talking about, I just want people to be truthful and I want people to be honest and stuff like that. It's like, dude, it's conveying honesty to you. This is what they honestly remember. And people decided they don't want to trust it. They're conveying truth to you. People decided they don't want to trust it. No matter how much they say they want truth. It's just how we are, man. We are screwed up batch. Lord help us. All right. Let's see. Now, an argument came up between John's disciples and a Judean concerning purification. They came to John and said, hey, Rabbi, the one who was with you beyond the Jordan, the one who you testified about, look, he's immersing. We see you immersing, Jesus. We're going to go tell John, going to tell on you. And all are coming to him. They're going to get his burgers, man. They don't want your burgers no more. Because you be putting grasshoppers and stuff in your burgers, man. You be making weird burgers, John. Make weird burgers. Like, who ever heard of that? A grasshopper burger? People going over to Jesus, man, because at least if he's going to have something else on the menu, it's going to be fish or something like that. All right? Have fish sandwiches and stuff like that. You over here eating grasshoppers, man. You ain't going to get no business for that. Of course he's going to take your business. All right. John answered, a man can receive nothing unless it has been given to him from heaven. John knew where his talents came from. Okay? You yourselves testify that I said I am not the Messiah, but rather I am sent before him. The one who has the bride is the bridegroom. But the best man rejoices when he stands and hears the bridegroom's voice. My dude sounds happy, man. Go be a happy husband.
Yeah.
All right. So now my joy is complete. I'm happy for you, bro. Happy for you. He must increase while I decrease. John was about, he did his job. My job is to pave the way for his coming. All right. I made my announcement. The headliner has showed up. Time for me to pack up my drums and all that sort of stuff and let the headlining act do its thing. Yeah. All right. The one who comes from above is above all. The one who is from the earth is of the earth, and of the earth he speaks. The one who comes from heaven is above all, and what he has seen and heard, he testifies to that. Yet no one receives his testimony. So just like we were saying earlier, only Jesus can testify about heaven and earth. He's the only one who can tell you that there is life after death. And he's the only one who can prepare that place for us. Nobody else can. All right. So, and the sad part of it is, and there's people today, man, people who will even concede that Jesus walked the earth, but they can't get themselves to believe that he can testify about heaven and earth. You know, and I used to be one of those people. He's one of those like, yeah, I believe Jesus walked the earth and stuff like that. And he was a really nice guy. And you know, he's probably a really good teacher and all that sort of stuff. Good, right? He didn't do any harm to anybody, you know. And then, C.S. Lewis, as he puts it, it's like, yeah, you believe that Jesus is a good person and all that sort of stuff. It's like, that's nice. How nice of you to give him that benefit of the doubt that he was a good person. But at the same time, you think he's a liar. It's like, okay. You know, Jesus, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm God. Yeah, I'm the Son of God. Yeah, I and the Father are one. You know, just in case you don't get all these angles. I know it's kind of a little over your head that the Son and the Father are the same thing and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, dude, I'm God. Oh, I don't believe that, but I think you're a good person. It's like, okay, so this lying or this liar or this lunatic is a good person to you. That don't even make sense. Okay? He told the truth. That's what makes him good, right? Or, you know, sent by all that's good. You're sent by God. Jesus like, ain't nobody good except my dad. You know, but you know what I'm saying? If there's anybody qualified to be called good on earth, it was Jesus. And why? Because he didn't lie. Right? He didn't lie about who he was. He told the truth. So if anybody's out there talking about, yeah, I think Jesus was a good person and all that sort of stuff, but you don't think he's God, then you don't really think he's a good person because you're accusing him of being a liar. All right. Let's see. He testifies to that. Yet no one receives his testimony. And we got, like I said, we got that today. People don't receive the testimony of Jesus. Whoever receives his testimony has certified that God is true. The one whom God has sent speaks words of God. Almost there, y'all. For God gives the Ruach without limit. Man, sky's the limit for us, y'all. I'm telling you, man, the universe is going to be our backyard, dude. You don't want to miss this party, man. You don't want to miss it. All right? It's like, you know, for those who are so driven by science, you know, I'm not a science enthusiast, but I enjoy the sciences of things, how things work, you know, how things are made, you know, things like that. You know, I dig that stuff. And, but the thing I marvel about it is the architect of it, the person who designs it all. It's like, wow, man, wow. You know, it's like, why would you want to pass up getting to know that dude? The person who set the laws of physics in place, who codified everything to keep the universe in perpetual motion. The person who orchestrated this stuff. He's like, dude, you want to know him? It's like, come on. I want to know that guy. All right? I mean, when you're looking at it, it's like people want to travel at the speed of light. And, you know, it's like, man, you ain't going to discover the universe at the speed of light. You're going to be long dead before you even get to the next galaxy, man. It's like the speed of light ain't going to help you much. All right? But with God, the whole universe will be at our disposal. He's telling you, it's like, man, he's going to give the spirit without limit. Can you imagine, I mean, traveling from one galaxy to the other faster than light can travel between your fingers? You know, you want to pass that up? You want to know? It's like the only way that right now you can observe, you know, other planets and other solar systems and other galaxies and stuff like that is through a high-powered telescope. You know, but with God, man, you'll be able to walk. It's like hopscotch, man. Just hop and skip and jump to different planets, different solar systems, different galaxies. You know, have a prime seat for celestial events and stuff like that. You know, you want to see, it's like you can get like right up in sniffing distance from a flipping event horizon. You want to pass that up? And it's like for those who are like atheistic and stuff like that, who want to be in science, your science in your lifetime, you're just like, you're gonna never know what these things are like. And you're gonna pass up the opportunity to get the answer to these questions that you have. What's out there, or what's beneath the water? You know, how it's like people talk about that we've never been to the bottom of the ocean and stuff like that, and we haven't done this, and we're looking to the sky. It's like, well, you know what? Chances are you hang with God, and you'll know what's at the bottom of the sea. Wow. You know, you'll know what chemical compositions are making up the atmosphere of these planets that you're speculating about, that you guys are always changing your information on. You know, you look at what is the atmospheric makeup of these different planets that are out there. Every like so many years, like, oh, it was this, and now it's this or it's this. Y'all can't get your story straight. All right, talk about global warming on Earth and stuff like that. Oh, there's global warming on Mars. Well, how did that happen? We didn't do it. And people crack me up with this stuff. You know, it's like, or talking about, you know, how Earth got life on it. Really? Earth got life on it because an asteroid with water hit it, and that's what brought water to Earth? Are you serious? That don't make no kind of sense. So how did the water get on that asteroid? We needed an asteroid to bring water to Earth. This is what scientists believe, man. And they always got to change their tune. That don't make no sense. Water got on an asteroid and brought it to Earth. Meanwhile, Earth itself is in prime position to facilitate life. But water couldn't have started on Earth. No. Something had to bring water to Earth. But you can't answer how water got on that thing. If you can answer how water got on that asteroid, well, then that would stand to reason that you can use that same answer to apply it to how water got on the Earth. It don't even make sense. Or how it took another comet or an asteroid or something like that to bring the single-cell organism to here. Or aliens deposited life here. It's like, well, where did those aliens get their life from? See, you see what I'm saying? It don't make any sense. That's some crazy faith to believe some stuff like that. That stuff is fully unsubstantiated. Meanwhile, you got Jesus who shows up, who says, yeah, dude, I'm that dude. I'm the guy responsible for it. Oh, you don't believe? Let me. If you guys are wondering how life started, here, I'll do this for you. I'm going to die, and then I'm going to come back. You know why I'm able to do that? Because I'm freaking life. I am life, man. You know, Jesus came back and he gave you the book. It's like, yeah, this is how it all happened, dude. This is how I did it. Well, I'm not going to believe that. Why? Oh, because it's man-made gobbledygook. That don't even make sense. If it's man-made gobbledygook, then you shouldn't even believe yourself because you're spouting out a bunch of man-made gobbledygook. All right? So I choose to believe that dude who proved it, and we got historical record that he did it. And it's like, man, and the fool says in his heart, this God ain't true. Man, I don't want to be. I hope that you don't want to be one of them fools.
We had one of them fools in the comments in the thread.
Come on, man. Don't mess with our party, dude. You gonna do that?
He tried, but our Facebooking fellowshippers were gracious and.
That's what I'm talking about. Man, don't pass up this party. Man, don't party foul, man. Yeah. Don't party foul, dude. Don't do that, man. Come on up in here, man, and get this fellowship. Give the Lord a chance. He didn't give you a chance. Yeah. Listen now, where are we at? Okay, the Father loves the Son and has given everything into his hand. He who trusts in the Son has eternal life. Eternal life. He who does not obey the Son will not see life, but the wrath of God remains on him. A lot going on in there. Let's start with remains on him. For those, because we got, we got some lily liver Christians out there, man. We do who can't imagine a God who would have a person go to hell forever. And remember, God is merciful. God's like, look, man, if you don't want me, I'm not going to make you stay in my kingdom. But there's no place else to go. You have to be in quarantine, man, because you're immortal. We're all immortal, y'all. You know, that's the thing. We all live forever. This coil we shed, but, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. All right? We're technically, we're immortal. And you're going to be immortal one place or the other, either in heaven or in hell. All right? Or the lake of fire. You're going to smoke or you're going to shine. All right? And you have those who don't believe that a person will be in hell forever. But this is telling you right here, but the wrath of God remains on him. That's permanent, y'all. The Bible says the smoke of their torment will rise to God forever. Forever. Y'all don't take that gamble, man. You know, the gospel is the good news that you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Jesus that came in and made sure that you don't have to do that. It's like, y'all, don't take that gamble. It's an eternal thing. You can live in paradise with the Lord forever, or you can be apart from him in torment forever. And it ain't nothing nice, man. Don't do it. And this hell ain't something that you think you can make. This hell ain't what you make it. Because control is a representative of pleasure, to have control over something. You ain't got no control on it. Hell ain't gonna be what you make it. You ain't got that control. None. Don't fool yourself. Hell is not gonna be what you make it. You know nothing about anything that's like hell. You don't know nothing about it. Nothing that you've ever gone through on earth. Anybody. Not even close. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to bust anybody's bubble, because I know that life can be pretty dang rotten, but nothing will even come close to what hell is like. Don't take that gamble, man. Don't do it. So he trusts in the Son, has eternal life. He who does not obey the Son, obey. See what we were talking about earlier? People don't want to follow the rules of Jesus. They don't want to obey him. People be talking about, man, if Jesus was to do this, then I would believe in him. Okay, like what were things that y'all want to see? Y'all want to, you want to find proof of Noah's Ark? Would that help you believe? Or you want to find, Moses' tomb or something like that? Or you want to find these biblical artifacts? That's going to help you believe? That ain't going to do nothing, man. Believing is not the end all. It's obedience. So you mean to tell me that, let's say that somebody proved to you they found Noah's Ark, you'd be ready to believe in God? Okay, that's good. You ready to obey him too? No. Hey, demons believe in God. Satan believed in God. Obey God? Something different. All right? That's where that coup d'etat came from. Satan led a confederacy against God. Yep. So, this obedience. There's no obedience. And if you don't have that, you're not going to have peace. And I know a lot of us don't, we don't want to be like, under some authority figure, but hey, I'm okay with the right kind of authority. And God is my kind of authority. He's right. And it's just straight up, he's right. He's worthy of obedience. And I'm a knucklehead, man. Sometimes, it's like, I don't mean to be like disobedient, stuff like that. But sometimes, it's like, I just want to do my own thing, and I got to wrestle with that. But I don't want to be a slave to my sin, so I got to struggle with it. Me and my sins got to duke it out sometimes, but just so the Lord knows, like, look, man, at least I'm trying, right? I'm not just totally submitting to my sin. I struggle with it. That's what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for us to be saying, no, I'm submitted to you. And I'll struggle with this, but I'm submitted to you. All right, y'all. We got through 3. John 3. Juan toi. All right. That was kind of like some Spanish French. Yeah. What would that be? Spanish French. Sprench. Franish. Okay. All right. Yeah, what's going on out there in Facebook world? Sorry, I warned you guys. I'm a horrible multitasker. So if I wasn't like saying hi to you guys while you're in the feed, I'm trying to read and I'm trying to concentrate. So, but just know that I am so grateful that you guys are here. And much love and the Lord shalom to you. And if you did enjoy the trips, and I hope you want to leave a tip for the trip, there's my website right there. You guys want to come in and drop a little something in the tip jar. We don't pass around a collection plate in here, but the message is free, delivering it isn't. And thank you all so much. And you guys might have noticed that you're seeing me a little bit more. And the people say that, it's like, I'm seeing more of your videos. And I say, yeah, because people kind of be a little bit more supportive. And it helps, it frees me up, y'all. Because, as I work as an independent contractor as it is. But, so I can, when I have the support coming in, it's like, oh, you know what? I may not have to focus so much on this job. I can actually focus on content and I can produce some for you. Right? So that's what happens when you guys support. I can focus more on creating content, as opposed to having to go work for the man. All right. And thank you, God, that that I have the opportunity to even go and do work for the man. It's like, thank you, God, for that. But the more you guys support, the more consistently and regularly I can do content, because I can focus on that instead of having to, abide by somebody else's schedule where I'm just I'm just doing that instead of, bringing you guys this wonderful entertainment. All right.
And Lee Mayer says I should have a microphone.
You know what? We got or a megaphone or something like that. We'll get her like she wants to squawk in. All right. Well,
we did have a kind of a controversy brewing here. There was debates over are we under the law or under grace? And I tend to meet Christians who are on both extremes. We don't have to worry because we got grace. We don't have to worry about the law. Or the other side where we're just like constantly following the law and trying to do works and, save ourselves basically.
Okay.
So come on, help us out. Which?
Well, the word says the road is narrow.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And the thing is, if we're going to be on this narrow road, you got to stay on a narrow road and not go between these extremes of between works and grace.
Yeah.
All right. You got to stay right in here. So if a person is assuming that, you're under grace and all is forgiven, it's like, why do people keep forgetting that Jesus says, depart from me, you doers of evil. I don't know you. Even if you were calling on me, it's like you talking about, oh, Jesus and Lord, and all that sort of stuff and rah, Jesus. Jesus like, fool, I don't know you. You're a doer of evil. It's like, do we forget that? And then at the same time, when those who Jesus don't like people who are sanctimoniously thinking that they got to do all these works. Jesus had a hard time, with Pharisees who would be out there saying all these prayers and stuff like that and acting like they're so righteous and doing so much for people. Jesus didn't like that because a person trying to do works, they get full of themselves. They get puffed up. And they start to assume that what Jesus did wasn't enough. Yeah. We talked about this earlier, y'all. It's like, look, the works that you do, you cannot define what those works are. And you can't put a number on it. It's not mentioned. They say, look at the commandments. Jesus says, I come to fulfill the law, not abolish it, fulfill it. He comes to fulfill the law. And if he's talking about that law, that's the law you need to stick to. Yeah. And your accomplishment, the deed that you do, the accomplishment is to not do people dirty. The best thing that it's like when I talk about income taxes. When people talk about for one, like in the Constitution, if I can use this as an analogy, the Constitution model of our taxation does not include income taxes. Now, of course, the collectivist minded, they want to go towards the 16th Amendment and say that, but the 16th Amendment is antithetical to the Constitution, and it wasn't properly ratified. It doesn't even belong in there. All right, but our original tax model, you don't tax income. All right, we have a method for taxation so the government can be funded, but income taxes isn't one of them. And people be trying to determine, well, what's a fair amount of tax? You ain't going to find an agreement on that. Nobody can agree what amount is fair to tax. Yeah. All right? For some, it's too much. For some, it's too little. Anybody who thinks that there should be taxes is never enough. Yeah. All right? So you're never going to come to agreement. You know why? You know why there will be zero agreement on taxes? Because it's supposed to be zero. That's why. You're not supposed to tax people's income. All right? It's a violation of our right to property. So, it violates the commandment to not steal. It is theft. All right. So this is the same way with doing the deeds. You can't put a number on what deeds you can do. Zero. Nobody can agree to what good amount of deeds could you do and what good deeds would you do. The accomplishment, the deeds that you're supposed to do is in what you don't do.
Amen.
All right. You want to do a good deed? Don't steal from somebody. Yeah. Don't slander them. Don't commit adultery. Don't murder people. Honor your father and your mother. Have no other gods before you. That's a big one. A lot of people think, how's that? It's a big one because when you decide that you're going to fulfill your own selfishness, that means that you have put yourself before God. All right? Don't put anything before God. You keep God in front and you won't do people dirty. People it's like when, the commandment opens up, like some people, I think in the Jewish tradition, it's not the 10 commandments, it's the 10 statements. But the thing is, it's still commandments. It's still laws. It's like, well, how can it be a law when it opens up and it says that, I am your Lord thy God, you shall have no other, I am the Lord your God who raised you up out of Egypt. That's a statement. It's like, no, that's a law. Yeah, it's a law because there's no truth higher than that. The highest truth there is that God is God. Okay?
Wow.
God is God. And not only that, when God says, I'm the Lord your God who raised you up out of Egypt, brought you up out of Egypt, what God is saying, I am the Lord your God. There is no higher truth than that. It is a law that you understand that I am God. Second, it is the law that you are to be free.
Yeah.
That's why it says, I'm the Lord your God who raised you up out of Egypt, brought you up out of Egypt. Why? Because it is the law that you are to be free. So, these things that we have in there, you go by these commandments. You don't steal people's liberty. You don't oppress people, right? You're not oppressive to people. You don't steal from them. You don't slander them, things like that. These are the good deeds that you do. They're etched in flipping stone. God wrote it with his fingers so you would know what the good deed is. And so for those who are trying to think that they assume that they can do it by, their grace and all their sins forgiven, it's like, no, you can become an apostate. You can fall out with God. Going around telling, I'm a Christian while you're just committing sins and stuff like that. Jesus is like, no, go for it and don't sin no more. So don't assume, don't take the grace for granted. Don't abuse the grace. You can actually do that. Jesus doesn't like that. He'll tell you that he doesn't know you. All right? And don't assume that, hey, I'm a Christian now, so I got to go and do a bunch of good deeds. Now look at me, I'm a good person. No, don't work that way. That's an exercise in self-righteousness. Right? Just don't do people dirty. Get out there, and when you do your work, do excellent work. Let the glory of God show through you. When you show up to be an employee, man, be an awesome employee. That's your chance to be a witness. Amen. Be a witness to your kids. How do you be a good witness to your kids? Be an excellent spouse. Right? Treat your spouse like a queen. Treat your spouse like a king. That's right there. That is the biggest justice you can do for your kids. These things you should know you by your fruits and how you behave. And how you behave is according to these commandments. Now you look at these commandments and how you behave with people. That's how you heal the land. It's how you heal your communities. It's not, and of course be charitable, do things like that. But if we would abide by these commandments, it'd be less, you would have to be as charitable because people would be treating each other right. More people would be employed because people wouldn't be like, you wouldn't have a government that's so imposing on businesses that messes up their business because people have institutionalized covetousness where the governments always want to take more. And they're instituting their self-righteousness where the government has to regulate more and all that sort of stuff. And they lose their hiring power. And then people end up out of jobs and they end up hungry on the street and then they need charity. We stop doing that sort of stuff and we start living by each other right. And if people regain their hiring power and put people back to work, if people start acting like they got a little bit of home training, these things will stop. But it's not about, how much you give and how much you give and how much you give. A lot of it is how much you don't take.
Ooh, yes.
So it's like, think about, these are things to think about. And it's like the road is narrow, y'all. Road is narrow. And you just got to stay right here with these 10 commandments. And then from there, you won't be confused about, what you're doing with grace and works. Grace and works.
Rory's serious. He's saying, so we can lose salvation and get it back?
Yeah, you can get if you lost your salvation, the truth is you never had it.
Yeah.
All right. It's like you don't lose. Yeah, you're right. You don't lose salvation because Jesus says himself, look, man, I'll spit you out of my mouth. If you're lukewarm, I don't know you. All right. Jesus makes this pretty clear. So if a person's out there talking about, I'm a born again Christian and stuff like that, and I'm saved, and you're going out there doing all this sinning and stuff like that, thinking that you're under grace and it's okay, you were never saved. You just paid lip service to it. Jesus don't know you. Now a person is like, dude, come on. It's like, you know who's the real deal and who's not. And Jesus does. Jesus knows who's written in his book. So a person goes out because once you're saved, and once actually saved, always saved, genuinely saved. But you got those who pay lip service to it. They become apostates. All right, these people were never saved.
Amen. I think that too. John Kujat says, I miss Zonation, and a couple of other people miss Zonation too, but they can have the Zoloft, right?
That's right. Zonation, the Zoloft is the same thing as Zonation. Yeah. It's just under a different name. And of course, now with Zonation, we had the budget and stuff like that. we didn't have all the support that we would like to have, and that's why PJTV had to go under, you know. But and plus that, you know, the things that's been going on with social media and stuff like that, it made it very difficult for us to be able to stay afloat, you know. So PJTV had to change its model and stuff like that, and that came along with, you know, laying off the you know, its roster of commentators. But you know, I'm still doing the Zoloft, and it's the same stuff.
Yeah. Same silliness.
Yeah, but you know, it's keeping it, you know, keeping the regularity of it is dependent on, you know, those who want to contribute. Because PJTV, you know, it's easy for me because I was, you know, paid to do it. I was on payroll, you know, to be able to, you know, they bought my content from me, so I was able to keep that going regularly. But now I'm freelance, and you know, so I'm doing this by myself, so I can't do it as regular. But it's the same thing. The setup is a little bit different, you know, because, you know, the budget, you know, PJTV had the budget to be able to do that, and me, I'm on my own, you know, doing this sort of stuff. But it's still me. It's still the same content, and you know, of course, things are going to be different because, you know, topics and stuff like that. You know, we're in a new era. You know, with Trump is the new president. You know, there's, you know, different things to talk about. I don't have, you know, we don't have Obama to make fun of anymore. You know, bless his heart and stuff like that. You know, we still want to pray for that guy. You know, we don't want to, you know, no hate, but you know, but he's not around for us to make fun of as president anymore. So, you know, but now it's Trump, and, you know, things are different, and you know, so, but I'm still trying to press on. So if you missed donation, I really appreciate it. But now we have the Zoloft. Spread the word.
Yeah. We have some acknowledgement of the Battlestar Galactica gear.
Darn right. If you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, please go to my website and grab my book, The Flood Chronicles, Roots of the Curse. Hey, no Battlestar Galactica fan should be complete without one. It's its own story, but it's, you know, you by reading it, you can tell that I'm a Battlestar Galactica fan. Actually, there's more to it than that. But hopefully I've piqued your curiosity. Go check it out, The Flood Chronicles. Dang it. Get it as a gift. You can actually send it to people as a gift too. The Flood Chronicles, at my website.
You just want to say hi to some people who show up a lot, like Paul McCullough, Nate.
Yes.
Cable.
What's up, y'all? God bless you. Thank you guys for coming in and always keeping and helping to keep this fellowship going, man. It's a special thing to me that y'all show up, man. I love you.
You're cheesy.
Yeah, cheese. Cheese is good. All right, y'all. God bless you. You have a wonderful rest of your evening, and may your week be saturated with the shalom of that dude, Jesus Christ, the high priest and king. Go forward with him. Godspeed. You know, bring him into your life, and you know, may he do wonderful things with you this week, and be empowered, and be strengthened. And you know, life throws them curves at you. You know, may you get that good you know, that good muscle, you know, from on high to help you press on through. I pray that you have a week of shalom and a productive and fruitful week. But if them you know, the nasty curves come your way, pray for you the strength, you know, and we give thanks to the Lord that he is a never-ending wellspring of strength to get us through. All right, y'all. You have a fantastic night. Thank you.